Yeah, there's something on my mind. There's something that came to my heart. It's something that blossomed in my spirit, in my soul, in my gut, in my abdomen. Started to ferment, and then it unraveled into a opening of consideration. Right? Because, you know how I always say manipulation versus manifestation. Because it takes teamwork. You know, it's going to always take teamwork. We are in the heavier levels of this game. I'll say process, and that's what it is that I'm speaking towards or referring to is the process, because you see manifestation takes a process, while manipulation is always going to be an immediate thing. It's not necessarily always immediate. There's a conditioning, because it is conditional, that is generally involved. However, that manipulation comes out of that drastic and desperate, and sometimes a lot of times divisible or divisive, advisable. You know, you can't expect to get peaches from a grapevine, you know. And we all need wine, or we all like wine rather, you know. And we gonna need as much wine, because the good wine takes time. So when it comes to materialization here in this material world, which derives from, of course, the aspect or dimension, which a dimension is an aspect of time, which space gives you time, but time also gives you space. Within this material realm, which is only materialized by the manifestation, because you got mat, that's mother. Then you got man, of course, which we learned man meant love originally, man, in the Sanskrit language. One of them, right? The more closer definition of love, opposed to the higher functions or aspects of the concept or the idea of what we would refer to in today's language as love or lub, right? Because there's many loves. There's one love, but there's many sides of the one love, right? Just like a sphere or a circle has 360 degrees, right? The surface of whatever point, no matter as large as a globe or small as a marble, there's 360 points that make that one circle. Points of reference, right? Now, when it comes to manifestation and teamwork, with teamwork, those 360 aspects and parts are all in union, in harmony, right? Manipulation is like taking what you can get, or working with what you can work with. But there's no limit to what you can work with, except for, of course, what has been turned against you, whether by yourself or quote unquote whoever else. But even in it being whoever else, or your accepting it or seeing it as whoever else, that's only based on your lack of comprehension. I would say understanding, but it takes more than, it takes another person for understanding to begin with, right? Your lack of appreciation of it, or lack of acceptance of it, basically, to a certain extent, for lack of a better word. Because even if whatever else has been turned against you, which is going to be yourself every time if anything is against you, because there's nothing other than yourself, of course, as we have been discussing. All is one and one is all, right? Even down to the very atom, which that's consciousness in itself. Consciousness is God, God is consciousness. But God, that's not all God is, but consciousness, there's nothing that is not consciousness, you understand, right? There's different parts of the same thing, of course, but what would exist without existence, right? It is the very existence, the very energy, the very force that is life that makes anything alive, i.e. exist. Even a piece of wood, which is inanimate, right? Which is an object, came from something living, right? Now, whatever it is now was reversed. The function of it was reversed. Now we need shelter, right? We can't have shelter without, I'm not gonna say we can't have shelter without wood, but I wouldn't imagine that we would have anything that would be most secure or dependable that was not already unalive, so to speak, right? Stable enough, unchanging enough, which change is motion, change is life. Life is change. Change is growth is what change is. And growth is life, yes? So we have to have it unchanging. That's that manipulation. Unchanging. Okay? You take what does not change in order to change. It's manipulation. Right? And that's why I say there's a process involved with manifestation. It's not necessarily undependable, it's just unpredictable. It's not that it's not predictable, but it is subject to, of course, variation, ranges of variation, right? And when it comes to other people, as far as teamwork and that making the dream work, it's always going to be other people involved with whatever it is that you're doing, even if it is just something that you're doing on your own, for yourself, as yourself, alone. The very energy, the very vibrations, the very effect influences the world around you, the world, your world within, as well as the world as well as by extension the world around you. The world meaning era in itself, right? The world, a world is an era meaning a period of time, a duration from one point of occurrence to the next. Is the word era and the word world, right? Because we talking about words at this point. That's what we have to do because, of course, there's been manipulations happening, right? And why do we say that we revert a lot of times to manipulation? It's out of that disparity, which fear in itself becomes disparity. But fear is nothing but discrimination, right? Because to have it in the point where where you have to question it to begin, it's already been criminalized, and that it is improper, unright, yes, as in wrong, right? How can anything be right or wrong as long as it's real? We'll see. That's the whole thing about illusion and being able to tell reality from an illusion, from an hallucination, right? An elucidation. No? And as far as being able to tell or recognize it, for what function? Yes? Where does the question even stem from? Where is the uncertainty arriving? You know what I'm saying? Where does the uncertainty originate? Uncertainty. Well, that's out of that lack of trust and faith in the natural process of things, no? Right? Because if it's something you don't control or quote unquote can't control, then you're going to be fighting to what is it, prevail, you know what I mean? You're going to be fighting to prevail, to sustain. I want to say survive, but what I mean is you're going to be fighting to, you know, gain the advantage, basically. Or you're going to be fighting to assert yourself. Assert yourself. Right now, there's levels and layers to the structure, right? Because you got a process, but I'm speaking to an already established and decided, or rather designated system, right, of approaches, as opposed to a process which is open, right? There's a process is involved with treatments as well as conditions and conditionings, right? But love is unconditional to begin with, as far as there being one love, but the many sides of it, right? It's unconditional, meaning that one side is the next side because it's all-sided, right? Each part of it is every part of it, right? Because there's nothing without the whole, right? There's nothing without the whole, but there's no whole without the parts. So, being that love is always going to be complete. Love being life, life being growth, growth being light. There is no growth without any light. What is growing without light? Not nothing. That's why they say everything done in the dark will eventually come to the light. Right? Now, as far as done in the dark and people and secrets and shadows and integrity and honor and art, you know what I'm saying? Art is going to be true. Art is truth in itself. Okay? Truth is art, of course, right? I always think in my mind, just dyslexically, of the dichotomy between the contrasting concepts, right? Because you make a point in your mind as far as like collecting the significance of what it is that you're presenting, and it's always going to be those different corners of the framework of your very own conceptualization. Right, those corners, like the fact of what I'm saying as far as love and how that relates to reality, right? Because if you don't feel like love is real, that means you're going to be trying to use people. Okay? If you don't feel like there's any sorts of repercussions that make any difference, I mean, because we all die anyway, right? So what's the point? Yeah, no, the point is honor, my nigga. The point is truth. The point is trust. The point is art. That's parts of the points, okay? That's parts of the points, yes? But there's only so many points here before you start repeating, right? And that's what I mean as far as the dichotomy between the different corners. Also, yes, that's what I'm saying. It's also what we are saying, what we are speaking of when it comes to words or whatever else. Okay? Because one word is another word for another word. You know what I mean? Like red and burgundy. No, it's really not the same. It's only so many colors though. Okay? Technically, yes. Burgundy would fall under the same dimension of red though. But it also kind of is a purple. But what is purple without red? It is blue. And is burgundy more red or blue? Well, I would say and argue, or I would suggest that it's more of a red. But that depends on what burgundy you get. I'm trying to get the bluest burgundy, fam. Just to throw niggas off. Just to throw, you know what I mean? Just to slag it out. Just to style it off, man. I need as much blue in my burgundy as possible because really burgundy is not necessarily supposed to have too much blue in it. You can get a burgundy with a drop of black and some red. Right? But if you don't add no blue to it, which honestly, if you want to have burgundy, any blue you add to the red is going to have a touch of green in it, which would have to have a drop of yellow in it. Right? So you have all red, right? 100% red, you know what I mean? Untainted red. Yes? Regular red. Right? You add a drop of black to that, that's automatically burgundy. It's not all the way bloody red, no, but I won't say automatically. You're going to have to put at least 16% black and 100% of red to get any sorts of close to burgundy. Otherwise, you're just going to have a darker red. But technically, darker red is like a burgundy, no? Okay, but it's not all the way yet burgundy with just the black. Unless, you know what I mean? You don't want anyone getting too elucidated. You throw the 16% of black in that red, no? Now you have a burgundy. Me, I don't want just a standard anything, right? I want it to be as rare, as exotic and abstract as life and time and love and light affords. Just as far as the aspects and dimensions are concerned. I mean, not to take up or waste too much extra time involved. And that's all our art in itself. But I'll throw the black in it. I'm not even gonna throw a black in it just yet to make it burgundy. Honestly, I always gotta put a drop of black in my red if I'm gonna have any burgundy at all. I like if I have any red, I'm finna just throw some black in it just to be retarded. I don't actually muddy up my colors at all. As far as like it's the base, if I have a base, it's got to be a clean, pure, you know what I mean? The crisp, nice, jiggly original color because you got 7 colors. Well, you have 3 primary colors that you get anything out of, right? Just like you have any one is actually 3. Why is it actually 3? Okay, I had said that already, but let me think about it again. How 1 is 3. 1 is 3, and because it's that, it is, and then it's whatever it is means that it is also not something else. But now you got 2 things, which to even consider what those 2 things are in the one would make it a 3rd aspect. So that's how 1 is 3. You understand? But also 0 is 1, and 1 is 0, because what? Nothing is a thing, even without it being a particular thing. It is the concept of not a thing. It's how you get 1 from 0. And that's how you have any numbers at all. Okay? Which the numbers are going to give you the amount, right? And that's why there's only 9 numbers, because 1 is 3 and 0 is 1. Well, it's because 0 is 1, but 1 is 3, right? right? Because 0 is 1. To have anything at all includes nothing. But now, even in 1 being 1, it already is automatically 2. Right? Because first of all, it's next to 0, making it whatever else other than nothing. Right? For whatever reason. And that's the whole point as far as the reason. And as far as trusting and respecting life as an art, as opposed to a game, right? Which there's an element of I guess you could say, arranging and what is called I want to say thrill, but the word I'm thinking of is excitement, right? And reward and satisfaction, right? Because that's why you play a game, is for the fun. Right? There's an element of fun in art, but there's also work in art, right? That's why it's called artwork. It's not just art, that's artwork. Any art you're looking at that's not also artwork, it's not art. Okay? Now, as far as manifestation, because that's what art is it is an manifestation. But it is not supposed to be a manipulation, even though it can end up being a manipulation or even derived from manipulation, right? Because everything is everything for one, but it's all on how you look at it, right? Because like I said, 1 is 2, but I also said 1 is 3. Did I not? I did say that. But that's when you move from any other thing outside of just 1, because all is 1. But 1 is also 0, which is none. So how is 1, 2, and 3? And how is 0, 1? Well, we said how 0 is 1. But how is 1, 0? Because there's nothing outside of 1. There is nothing outside of 1. Because even 2 is 2 1s. But it's 3 zeros, guys. How was 2 3 zeros? That was really kind of like being sarcastic, right? Because that was kind of like a reach, for real. Like, if you caught that one, that's like because your ass is retarded like me. But as far as 3, 1 being also 3, that's only outside of, or once you want to do whatever else with whatever exists, with existence in itself, right? A particular instance of existence is a manifestation. But if we are now resenting spitefully the love of life and you know the you know what I'm saying, love in our life, then we might hallucinogenically and elucidatively perceive manifestation as manipulation. Right? We have no, we're, you know, we kind of are subjected to that at particular points in our life, but that is where that honor comes in. That's where that nobility comes in. That's where that character comes in. That's where that humility and modesty comes in. That's where that artfulness comes in, right? It's not about making the best out of what you have, and to a certain extent, it is about exploring the potential so as to unlock further possibilities, right? Because you can make an art piece, which would be work to a certain extent, but there's only so much work, and there's more work. There's sometimes some more work involved with different art pieces than the other art pieces. For example, you can see a quote unquote supposed abstract piece of art on a fucking canvas, yes? However, there's more that goes into art than, as far as a business, than the creativity involved with the creation of said particular artwork. And it's also a matter of taste and a matter of vision, right? Right, because look, if I am an accomplished as well as an experienced painter, me throwing, just tossing some paint on a canvas, I'm going to toss it with a different sort of flair, with a different sort of style. Not even purposely. It's just, even if I'm doing it, if I'm trying to be as non-artful as possible, at some point, out of the 100 times I do it, it's going to be a piece of art. If not every time, depending on the business surrounding that particular situation, right? I mean, because who would fuck gonna buy 100 pieces of just whatever, just somebody throwing art on it? Well, it depends on who did it and when they did it and what they did it with, right? And as far as the example of what I'm saying, if it's just some red paint on a white canvas, that in itself has its effect, right? Has its allure to it, because now you got 100 pieces of the same components, but all of them are going to be different, right? Now, if you add yellow, which would be another primary color, or we'll say blue, because blue stands up better next to red. Yellow and red is red is definitely going to be most prominent, but the yellow is going to have its own quality to it, right? Next to red, and then next to blue is going to have its own quality. On white, that is, right? Because now we're talking about the canvas color now too, right? If you don't do no conditioning to the canvas, if the canvas is a smooth canvas and ain't got no sort of texture to it, now all of them are the same texture, all the same color, until you add a color. Now it's only half the actual process that it would be, or the actual conditions. Right, because the process is different from the conditioning. The conditions would be the components, while the process would be the aspects. Okay, the conditioning and the conditions would be the components involved, while the process is going to be the aspects. What is the difference between an aspect and a component? It's your intention. Right? And the limitations, which there are no limits, but are we exploring, or are we exploiting? But it takes teamwork, man, right? Because there's the components of other individuals on Earth. Always. And that's the entire narrative. That's the entire lesson. Is that now you can live for yourself. You can live by yourself. But you're never alone. Even if you was the only person on the planet. Why? Because first of all, you came out of two people to even be born. To begin with. Right? And even though they may have passed away materially, their spirit still makes a difference. Whether you can say they're living in another realm or not, whatever made you you is still a result of what is called time and space, which are occurrences, activities, okay, vibrations in themselves. Right? Which transform, but as you know, energy never dies in itself. Okay? So in that sense, you can't ever be alone. Okay? Just like you can't have the color red without the color yellow and blue, even if you don't use the color blue and yellow. Because those are the colors, my nigga. Right? You can have red paint, but that's paint. That is the component. That is red paint. That is the aspect. Aspects being part of the process are harmoniously interchangeable and integral to the fuller whole. How? Because of course, color is color. Whatever color it is, it's a color. Unless you're using a color that's not a color. Right? Now that's another aspect of color, right? That's the other side. That's the contrasting polarization of an aspect. You're always going to have any one aspect is going to involve that too. Just like anything is anything, then that it is one thing of what it is of everything, basically, right? But in one, it's also two because it's not whatever else. Yes, as far as just as far as considering the shit considerably. Yes. So, you dig what I mean? You guys gotta forgive me, man. I just want to apologize out loud, man, to my family, man. Because my family is vast. Our family is vast, man. Everybody on earth is my family, man. Just like Cain killed his brother, my nigga. The very man who killed him was his brother, my nigga. Just like Seth killed Asar, yo. Or Osiris. That's the point. And it's raw out here, cuz. I'll beat your ass, little nigga. Or you whoop my ass. Ain't nothing wrong with that, though, yo. Ain't nothing wrong with that, yo. Same time, my nigga, come see me, bro. You can't do that, nigga. You faking, homie. And art ain't fake, homie. It's real, my nigga. Right? So how can it be possible if it's not real? Shit, it's just the process, cuz. Yes? It's a condition of the process, my nigga. No? But process is full circle 360 degrees, cuz. Right? So it's gonna go on for however long it go on until it's complete, whole again. And even more, yes? The point of me taking a moment to officially out loud apologize, which is something that I don't do because my grandmama said never to do. Right? If a nigga need an apology from you, then fuck him. Not like, and I'm gonna say that just as a fucking gargoyle, as a mother, you know what I mean, as a criminal, as a debaucher, as a pirate. You know what I mean? I don't mean that like I don't be feeling like that. I'm not gonna just be rancid and just lurid like that is the word. Don't get me wrong, it's whatever, like it is what it is. You feel how you feel. That's the whole point. If you feel that strongly, then, let it be what it is. Just don't take it to whatever else, trying to do something about something that's going to change anyway. Right? That's the point of what I'm saying to you, cuz. Right? As far as manipulation, right? And manifestation, cuz. Change is growth. Growth is change. Anytime you take in a component, right? And implementing it, right? As opposed to utilizing it in your operation, then you're limited in it, right? Which love is unconditional, which is unlimited, right? All at once, but piece by piece at the same time, in every way and any way, regardless. So that's the art of it. Where you fit in or don't fit in It's not. It's only in comparison to whoever else or whatever else when there's nothing else except for your own separation or what is it called? Your own denial of that, right? That's what fear is. It's denial, right? Which, why would you need to deny anything? At what point does denial come in? Right? When perhaps you're thinking something that you should not be thinking. Is when you have to deny the reality, the validity of whatever said aspect or component of this involvement, of this experience, of this situation, of this existence. No? Now, how do you begin to think something that you shouldn't think? By doing something you should not do. Right? Going against your own spirit, your own will, basically. Going against your own will, right? Because even in mistakes, right? Even in quote unquote sinning, which is to do less than what it is which is not to do what you can do, or to do less than what it is for you to do, or to do less with what it is that you have, that you can utilize, is to sin, is to fall short, is the Hebrew context of the very origin of the word sin. Another way to look at sinning is to do anything outside of faith, to faithlessly perform or faithlessly maneuver, right, or consider. Yes, that's that fear, right? That's that, what do we say fear was? We said it was despair, but we also said it was what? I just said it. Dang, when we get to thinking something we shouldn't think, that leads to doing shit we shouldn't do, or rather doing shit we shouldn't do leads to thinking the shit we shouldn't think, but thinking shit we shouldn't think leads to doubt, for one. But the other word, which I just thought of it, and it made me happy for just a split moment. Almost happy. I was pleased, at least. Right? And I'm finna talk myself out of it just so I can remember it again, because it felt almost a little bit that good to just have remembered it before I tell you what it is. Well, you already probably remember what I said. You probably don't, because I forgot it. Right? But doubt, but to question is also what did I say it was? Tell me, oh shit, anybody shit, nigga, 70 points, nigga, to whoever gonna tell me before I tell you again. I said what now? I didn't forgot it again now. I forgot it again. I like when I do that sometimes. I mean, you know, it just happens. It's the process. No, but thinking shit you shouldn't think leads to the question, right? For you to deny, yes, is what we said no. That's that doubt, it's that denial. You know what I mean? Doubt, denial is the same but different, you know? But that's kind of like around the same circumference of what it is that be happening or whatever when it comes to reverting to using as opposed to contributing. You know what I'm saying? Because we all, first of all, just in a basic sense, we all have whatever it is that we need already, ready-made, compact, yes, convenient for us. Down to, even if we choose to murder an animal, we can have some meat. Where the fuck you feel like meat come from? It ain't come from no man, cuz. It came from the same place the vegetables came from, technically. But I know you better be eating some vegetables too, cuz. If you eating that meat at all, cuz. Which at the same time, brother, if you ain't murdered your own meat, then what is that? Shit, I mean, we ain't growing our own fruits and vegetables to begin with, so that's probably around the same thing of what it would be to be eating a chicken that ain't never took 10 steps, cuz. right? Was grown and cultured, nigga, in captivity, bro. In a stricken. I'm not saying don't eat chicken. I'm saying like free range chicken at least. You know what I'm saying? Kosher chicken. I don't really know about all that. I ain't mad at no meat, man. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the tasty morsels, cuz. Don't get me wrong. Cause I love a burger. At the same time, I'm about structure, cuz, right? Which is system, but also is a process. Yes, structure is a little bit on the manipulative side. But bro, I'm not necessarily non-manipulative. I just there's a higher purpose for things. You know what I mean? And there's a deeper meaning to just what it is that you can, take away from particular things. Which there's levels to that too. Right, as far as allegiance, as far as brotherhood in itself, as far as what is called convention, as well as covenant, but it's also the idea of principle. Okay, the principles, cuz. You know what I mean? Because you got purpose for things, then you got principles involved. Okay. Now, principle is going to be the first, the very premium, right? It's the established, right? It's those 360 out of the all that anyone is. You understand? Did you hear me? Those are principle corners, yes, of the dichotomy. Yes, those are your principles. How love is art, no, but you gotta have art to refer to love or to compare love to art. You gotta have the two. Now, why are we not comparing the love to lust? Because it's incomparable, right? It's incomparable. We can compare sex to lust, right? Faster than you can compare sex to love. But you can also almost compare sex to love. But not without lust, you can't. Right? Now, you can, but you shouldn't. You can. You can do whatever the fuck you want, whatever your principles is, cuz. But just have in mind whatever other 359 before you decide or you settle, right? You accept that as one of them. Yes, as far as your principles is concerned. No. All right, that's all I'm saying, right? And that takes that patience, right? Manifestation is going to take patience, as I was beginning to say at the beginning of this, as far as teamwork is concerned, yes. And manifestation and manipulation are very comparable because it's like the divine order is already in motion, right? So you can always click into it. You can always, you know what I mean, spread it out, right? And just like splash it onto a canvas, right? But how many do you have? 360 canvases already decided as to what those are going to be and stay. Because once the thing about art is, a piece of artwork, right? That's what an art piece is a piece of artwork, is unchangeable. Yes. Yes. But the idea of it is always relative. No, it's always changing. Yes. So that's the part of how it's relatable. Right? But the thing about manifestation is also always moving and in motion. Yes? When it comes to these systemized and established structures in the conditioning of whatever said objective and effective interest, yes, as opposed to investment, because I said using and contributing, right? Because first of all, what is it to use, right? For the most part, generally speaking, it is to take as opposed to give, right? There has to be whatever other else in order to give to, yes. And, since you're using that thing in order to give to it to a certain extent, sure. But what are you getting, even in a situation, in that scenario, right? What is it that you're getting, right? To contribute, you're even getting that sense of contribution, that sense of belonging, right? Of worthiness, of integrity and honor, and what did we say? Principle, right? When you contribute to something, you gain a sense of pride, right? You shouldn't, but you can. You shouldn't. Even though you can, and you deserve to be able to, no matter how much you want, because that's artful in itself. There's an art to that as well, as far as the exchange between considerations and perspectives. Relatably, yes? In the fuller spectrum, that is not just you here on this earth at this point, but at this point on this earth, as far as the us is in the we, there are very many components involved with that. In relation and in contrast to the already existing aspects, right? Which get convoluted, yes, many times, especially when it's not approached faithfully, right? Faith in what? Faith in truth, right? And like I said, truth is love. Love is truth. And what I say love is art. And I also said art was what? Truth. Truth is art. Those are three sides of the one that is fucking consciousness. I don't want to say consciousness, but energy in itself. But the energy is really the zero, right? Because zero is not even nothing either, right? I mean, it's specifically nothing, right? But to even begin at nothing, it's got to be a fucking principle and core nothing, which would be, of course, everything is the nothing, which is energy. Because nothing is not anything without energy, except for, of course, when you go beyond whatever need for energy, right? Because energy comes from a place, cuz we're talking about the very energy in itself derives from another source. What is the source of energy? Shit, man. It's love, my nigga. Literally. And what's called is it's a circle, yes? Because without energy, how will we even associate love? Well, see, it's not to be, once that whole association is the art. No, but the love is there, cuz. Always. And never, cuz. Right? As far as your contribution and usage. Right? It's unconditional. You love unconditional, not for it in return, cuz. And that's why that's why even what I'm also meaning when I say as far as having pride, as far as, having principles, cuz the two P's, nigga, don't click as far as principles and pride, right? It's a sacrifice, cuz. That's all it is, cuz. Right? It's whatever you have, you give. But you can't contribute what is not yours, and what is yours, especially if there's nothing outside of you. Outside of that contribution in itself. Yes, is what I'm saying. So, I mean, it's relatable, man. It's relatable, and it's not nothing all you try to wrap your mind around. It's something not to feel like you have already figured out, right? And that's the only way you can manipulate something, is you feel like, okay, it's going to go this way, and if it doesn't, you got a backup plan for that, which that's fine. However, your reaction, right? Your activity, which is a reaction, right? Your activity, right? Your advancement, right? Your initiation through whatever decision you make, based on your comprehension, based on your conception of it, your perception and perspective, your decision, whether it's you take action on your decision or your choice, whether you take action on your choice in it becoming a decision or not, is already coloring your idea, right? So it's involved, it's intricate, right? And that's another way that it takes a team. Right? Because you don't want to have to make too many decisions for too many other people, especially if and since they're there already anyway, cuz. So what is it the fuck you saying, cuz, in manipulating something? That whoever else is useless, basically. Now that's a lot to assume. Especially unnecessarily, which is never necessary, except for whatever sort of immediate result. Which you have to be very careful with that. Because now you're not only limiting the possibilities, you're cheating your own experience. You know what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, man, patience. You know, it takes that trust, that faith, and that patience. You know what I mean? The fruitages of the spirit, which those are the principles that I'm referring to. Your fruitages of your spirit. We spoke about those. Goodness, kindness, right? In every encounter. Which me, I'm like I said, I'm rugged, cuz I'm raggedy sometimes, cuz I give a fuck about a lot of shit, cuz. As far as, and in other words, as far as what I mean is, I don't give no time. I can't even say I don't. That's why I didn't say it. It's not that I don't give a fuck, but I'm a really, if I'm a care about anything, then I gotta understand I need to be careful about what the fuck I'm caring about, cuz. Because I'm, first of all, only one man, cuz, only one person. No? And it makes a difference to me, cuz, even if it is a detriment to my involvement or survival materially. And that's the faith that I have to have, the trust that I have to have. That's the risk that I have to take when it comes to art, because some things are irreversible and that canvas is ruined. At least let it be worth it. Let it be worth it.